Rory, good to talk to you.
Good to see you.
European Tour Player of the Year, Race to Dubai champion, a World Golf Championship, 3 other victories. Is 2015 a year you look back on with satisfaction?
It's a hard one because I think if I had said at the start of the year, anything less than a major win wouldn't have been satisfying. But I've played well. I feel like I've played well enough at times to win a major if the majors were on slightly different weeks. But it's been a good year. Like I've said, it's been a good year. It hasn't been a great year, but I mean, I'm really happy with how everything's went, and especially post injury and coming back and at least winning a golf tournament before the end of the year. That was important to me, just to try and sign the year off on the right note, and I was able to do that in Dubai. So happy enough with the season, but definitely want next year to be better.
When you win a tournament like the DP World Tour Championship, which leads to winning the season-long Race to Dubai, like that's a big event for most golfers. Do you need to ensure that you actually enjoy that you go and celebrate, you go out with your girlfriend, you go out with your family, that you actually mark that? Because I guess it's a long career if there's only 4 majors a year and that's all you enjoy.
No, exactly. No, of course. I mean, we had a good night the night that I won, and feels like I've kept having good nights over this Christmas period with Christmas parties and all sorts. But any time you win, you have to relish it, and because you lose a lot more than you win at golf. I mean, I played 20 tournaments this year. I won 4 times. I mean, that means the other 16 I didn't win. So you really have to enjoy your wins, and I think that's something that Padraig Harrington said to me at the start of his start of my career when he was winning. He said you have to enjoy them because they don't come around often enough, and so I've definitely enjoyed the last win just there.
Padraig still giving you advice, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Always keen to lend a helping hand whenever he can.
You mentioned the injury there, and just looking at some of the quotes from Dubai about can't be doing silly things like playing football anymore, it can take a chunk of your season, jeopardize 6 months, which at this stage you just don't want to do. But going back 6 months, the quote seemed slightly different, where it was, well, this is part of my life. This is the sort of stuff that keeps me grounded. What kind of changed over the 6 months that maybe your attitude changed slightly?
I think just a little bit of reflection. Like it's not like I'm never going to play football again. I mean, I'm sure I will, and like this time of the year is the right time to do it, when I've got a nice break in the season, and if anything, touch wood, does happen or doesn't happen, I have time to recover from it and not miss a big chunk of the golf season. So you have no problem, putting on a pair of football boots and going and running around with maybe an ankle brace on, maybe take some precautions, but I can do other things to enjoy myself during the middle of the season and not put myself at risk, because reflecting on it was really disappointing, especially missing the Open at St Andrews. I'd been waiting for it for 5 years, and then not being able to have the chance to play in it and to compete, it was tough. Was part of it to do with what happened with Jordan Spieth? Like, I think back to this time last year, he just won the Hero World Challenge Tigers tournament, just broken into the world's top 10. A year on, he's the world number 1. He's got 2 majors, could easily have had 3, could easily have 4 majors the way it's gone. These guys are coming very quickly. I think it's obviously it's a bit to do with Jordan, it's a bit to do with the guys that are coming up, but it's also golf is a long career in terms of compared to other sports, but at the same time, this is going to be my 8th or 9th full season on tour, and it goes very quickly. So anything that you do to take away from that, you just don't want to do. You want to give yourself the best possible chance to compete at the highest level. And
looking today, you've played 26 majors already. Yeah,
26 majors. Hopefully I'll play a lot more and hopefully win a few of them as well. So I think 4 out of 26 isn't a bad return, but hopefully I want to try and improve on that as the years go on. Yeah,
we often see that yourself and Jordan are put side by side, and your swings are put side by side, and when people look at your swing, it's, well, that's the swing of a major champion. You can see with the technique, with the balance, with the power, you can see why you win so many tournaments. With Jordan, it's not quite so clear cut at times, that he's got that little something extra. He has this incredible mental strength. Now, the way golf goes, we never know if we're going to have McIlroy and Spieth going down the back 9 of a major championship, but mentally, do you look at him sometimes and think, bloody hell, he's just got something?
He's impressive. He's very, for I don't say a kid that young. I mean, he's 4 years younger than me, but to be like I had nowhere near the mental capacity at 22 as he does, and I've learned as the years went on, and I've had to overcome some obstacles to learn, but he just seems to have that little, like mental edge, or he's such a great thinker and he manages himself so well, and I think that's the thing that's most impressive, which people can't see on TV, which people don't really realize. But like, Jordan, even if he's having a bad day, or he still somehow is able to grind it out or find a way to get something out of the round. So he's a great thinker in that way. But look here, everyone does it differently. We all do it our own way, and that's the way he does it. And I mean, he does it very, very well.
Yeah, you say maybe 4 years ago you weren't at that level mentally. Right now at 26, like you talk about grinding there was a time when that was one of the criticisms that was leveled at you, that maybe you weren't a great grinder. Watching the first couple of days in Dubai, like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it didn't seem as if everything was working perfectly, but you were still putting together really good scores. Like, you seem to have answered those questions.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think at 26 now I've learned how to manage my game better. I'm a little more emotional in terms of if it isn't going my way, I can let the head drop a little bit, and that's just me. It's just how I am. But I've definitely gotten better at sticking at it and grinding it out, and turning that 75 or 76 into a 70, and just not shooting my way out of a tournament. And that's something I've had to learn over the years, where I feel like that's something that's just been ingrained in Jordan for since he started playing.
Yeah. A lot of people, I guess, would say that you need to take the emotional side out of it. Have you spoken to people over the years, spoken to psychologists and that, who've said actually if you just could somehow figure out a way of keeping a more level head?
But I think if I that I think that part of it makes me who I am, and if I were to be a little more level-headed. Not that I'm not. I feel like I'm very, very calm on the golf course, and I try to put things into perspective. But at the same time, if I give that away, I don't know if that I would lose something in my golf game as well, because that can work in both ways. I can get emotionally, if you get on a run and you get momentum, that's when I can shoot a 61, or when I can so it works both ways. When
you have the strut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've spoken before about your goal setting and writing down your goals for the year, and you've done it before, I think, on the back of a boarding pass on your way to Abu Dhabi, which is where you're going to be starting again in 2016. Are you thinking already about your goals for 2016, and how does that process work? I guess you need to be realistic. There's no point writing down goal, win Grand Slam in calendar year.
Yeah. I haven't really started to think about the goals yet, because I want to try and just enjoy Christmas and get that over me, and then really start fresh in 2016. So I mean, there's the obvious goals, like the result-based goals of winning tournaments, winning majors, all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, there's other little goals that aren't so obvious, whether it be things to do with lifestyle or fitness or eating better, or trying to cut things out at tournaments, or whatever it is. So little goals like that, which people don't appreciate, but I feel can help me become a better golfer as well. They're little goals that I set for myself too, but obviously there's going to be obvious ones in there, and they're there every year. And
I guess those other goals around your lifestyle are actually things that you have more control of, that when you get up in the morning you can change this, whereas unfortunately in golf, okay, maybe you're a slight exception. If you play your best, you're going to win 9 times out of 10. But still, somebody could just have a freakish round.
Exactly, that's the thing. I mean, you can only control yourself and control what you can control. I go out and play a great tournament at Augusta next year and shoot 18 under par. Someone might shoot 19 and I don't win. So you really can only control what yourself and what you can. So, but all those little process goals, I call them, of preparing well, practicing well, doing the right things away from tournaments, that'll all help to play better when you get into the tournament atmosphere.
You've already had that build up in 2015 towards the Masters and Augusta and a career Grand Slam, and maybe now with Jordan coming along and he'll be the defending champion, the pressure will be slightly different. But does a day go by where you don't think about first tee in Augusta and what it could mean for your life and your legacy already?
Yeah, honestly, I probably don't think about it as much as people think. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But again, I really won't start thinking about it until it's closer to the tournament. I've got 7 tournaments before Augusta next year, which is a lot compared to, Augusta always used to be my 6th tournament of the year. Now it's going to be
Why
my
the
8th.
change?
Well, the match plays before the Augusta now, and then I've added an extra event in the States just because I wanted to go play the golf course. I've heard Riviera is a great course, and I want to go play there in LA, and I think it'll be a good course for me. So a couple extra events, hopefully just a little bit sharper, a little bit more ready, and hopefully things go my way.
Rory, great to talk to you as always. Enjoy the Christmas.
Thanks very much.